an interesting topic. Someone asked me that their guru, their master, passed a statement that peace is higher than love. Peace is higher than love. And so she asked me, is it true? And if it is true, what does it mean? Because everyone says, all masters say, God is love. Jesus says, love thy neighbor as thyself. So isn't love the highest expression? And if it is, then it means my master is wrong. And so I found myself saying that peace is indeed higher than love. If we have a hierarchy. And so we'll just very briefly explore what this means in daily living. Not as theory, not something to be quoted from the Upanishads or the Vedas, just simple daily living. What could this strange statement mean that peace is higher than love? So first I will read out 2 sentences of Yogananda on love. I'll begin with that. So Yogananda says, my master Sri Yukteswar once asked me, do you love people? He answered, no, I only love God. The master replied, it is not enough. Then after some months, my master asked me again, do you love people? And he said, I replied in silence. And why did he reply in silence? Because he said, my master could now see that my love was too broad to be spoken about now. This time my master only smiled. The next Yogananda quotation, he is saying, divine love says to all, if you love me means M capital, God, you will love me not in one being but in all. Remember, though you try to cage me in one person, I will destroy in the end the body frame which holds that person. I do that so that you may learn to find me in all. This is a most crucial statement by Yogananda. And what has love got to do with Advaita? So we have to understand that this realm where we find ourselves in, this birth into this field, is the field of duality. We have taken birth into the field of duality of every conceivable kind. You name the simplest things, up and down, left and right, front and back, rich and poor, health and illness, night and day. This is the realm of the polar opposites, like the North Pole and the South Pole. We cannot escape it till our last breath. This realm of duality has some important polarities to discuss. The first being pleasure and pain. As human beings, our tendency is to chase pleasures and avoid pains. But our own lives have shown us we don't know what will happen next. The phone call we receive, news about someone, could be good, could be bad. So, someone who is on the spiritual journey, instead of trying to run away from pain, which is a futile exercise, why not perhaps accept the pain, even though I don't like it, and face it as the flow of life? So, this is an important polarity, and anyone on the spiritual journey has already realized this. If they hadn't, they would not come to such talks and gatherings. So, the pleasure and pain polarity is very important to understand love. And then there is good and evil, a very important polarity. Because if we look at our own belief of God, the source, consciousness, Parabrahman, and we say God is all powerful, all knowing, all pervading. Nothing is more powerful than God. We can agree on that. That is what we feel. A personal God may be anything. Krishna, Shiva, Allah, whatever it be. Irrelevant. But the strange thing is, if we know that there is no power apart from God, how can we consider someone in our lives as evil? Because if God is all there is, that person whom we have labeled as evil is an equal part of God. I may not like that person. I don't have to like the whole world. But I can accept people for the way God created them. So, what Joel Goldsmith, the American mystic, said, if we understand this primary polarity of good and evil, then we are out of the game. How are we out of this game? In my life, I have someone who has troubled me a lot. And I feel I didn't ask for this trouble. I didn't ask for this kind of treatment. It's just that the relationship is this way. And I realize, just like myself, when I was a baby, I was pure joy, pure being. I could not judge people, I was too young. Anyone who came to me and played with me, I was happy. But what happened when I started growing up? I got bombarded with conditioning. First of all, my parents and their conditioning and what they constantly fed into me, their ideas, their thoughts, their beliefs. The religion I was born into, which had a collective conditioning, the income group of my parents, rich, poor, somewhere in the middle, and the school they sent me to. So this baby started developing an ego and finding itself separate from everyone else. This is me. This is my view of something. This is my opinion about something. This is who I am. Without realizing that is not who you are. That is your conditioning speaking. And then I realize I truly did not create my own conditioning. Forces far bigger than me did that. I was at the receiving end, which means anything I say and anything I do is a conditioned reaction based on my filters, my belief systems. Someone else has been gifted a different set of parents, different religion, different income group, and so on the basis of which they have opinions, views, and judgments. Now, in both instances, who created the conditioning? It is clear God did. So I think whatever I say and do and feel is the truth. I don't realize it is only my truth. The person who I am arguing with is operating from their blueprint. The way God has created their script. It so happens that we don't get along on a certain point. But now I realize there is no one who's right, no one who's wrong. Again, polar opposites, right and wrong. Earlier, I was very strongly identified. You are wrong. I am right. Whatever the subject may be. This is my opinion about a political party. This is my opinion about a movie I saw or a restaurant I went to. And if someone differs from you, you either feel superior because you think you know the truth, or you try to convince that person to the point of extreme repetition because you have held on to your view and you take away the other's peace of mind. And when we realize this, that everyone is equally entitled to their point of view because they have also been made by God, what job do I have to interfere in God's creation? Is it really my business? Yes, I may want to express myself. All right. But I don't need to go on and on about it because I'm no longer attached to my position. And when I live this way in daily living, it becomes so peaceful and relaxed. When I accept everyone in my life the way God has created them, that is a total acceptance of the other. Now, could not one call this total acceptance of the other as how God created them as true love? Why is it true love? Because this love is not the opposite of hate. In our own lives, the same person we will love sometimes and hate sometimes, depending on what they say and do. It's a shifty love. The love which is the opposite of hate is not the love the sages speak about. It is a conditional love. We have laid down conditions. We've done transactions with people in our own family, even with children, parents, colleagues at work, friends. Ours is a transactional love. Those who love me the most, I hold them very close to me. I buy them expensive gifts on their birthdays. And those I don't like, who have troubled me, I have shut them out without realizing that the one you don't like is your greatest teacher. The one who pushes your buttons is doing you a favor to see that the individual is truly not doing anything. The individual is playing out their script. When I start accepting this person as being an equal creation of God, what I find is I no longer react unconsciously to this person. Up till now, it is a tennis match. You hit the ball on my side, I'll hit it back, and it will go on and on and on. But now the opportunity is there to realize, what am I doing? Do I really need to argue this till kingdom come, this point? Or do I just say it once? And the other favor this person is doing for me is revealing what is already inside me. If I hate someone or I have ill will towards someone, that is arising in my own consciousness. That is the data in my mind. What has it got to do with the other person? But because the Maya is so strong, it appears there's someone else there to hate. That is the Maya. The minute a thought arises of condemning someone or blaming someone, the realization dawns that all this is churning only in my mind. It is the content of my consciousness. Which means what was buried deep inside is now coming out to be seen, to be looked at. That is the spiritual journey. or till my last breath, I am stuck in relationships which trouble me and where I try my best to return the trouble. Is that a life worth living? And so the sages say, let's keep love aside because it's a bad word. Let's talk about true love. True love, which has no opposite. Opposite of love is hate. Opposite of true love cannot be true hate. Why? If I accept everyone in my life, all my relationships, the way they are, not the way they should be, not the way they could be, or not the way they were, either an imaginary future or dead past. If I can live my life knowing that the hand of God is above all, then it means a big transformation because my relationship is now no longer with people, it is with God. When I see flaws in someone, I realize God has placed those flaws in that person. And I have my own flaws. The minute I see a flaw in someone and gossip about it or judge it or condemn it, the realization comes, what am I doing? Condemning God's creation. And then what about my blind spots? So a sense of humility starts stepping in into relationships. Then I can decide to do what I feel I should do. If I have to move away from a particular toxic person, let's say, defend myself in any way, so be it. But this time, I am not doing it with my guns pointed at the person who's been troubling me. Earlier, I was obsessed with only that. Not only my entire ammunition, but I will bring friends by my side and say, this person said this to me, this person said that to me. This is how the ego works. If the ego wants to condemn and judge people, God will send enough people to be condemned and judged. You will have no shortage of it till your last breath. But when I realize the game is up, the simplest of truths is now revealed to me. I find I respond to such people. I find I don't lose sleep. That is all. And I also find, as someone who's been attending my talks in Bombay said, an industrialist who had the worst relationships with his brothers. They just could not get along. And so they had to split the company because there was conflict all the time. So he came for the satsang and he said, for the first time in my life, first time, I called my elder brother and I said to him, look, officially we've parted ways. The company has been split. We never got along. But would you be open to one thing? Let's go and have a cup of tea together. And let's enjoy each other's company. And we don't get into arguments and conflict, which is what he did. He called his elder brother. Brother was shocked. Brother must have thought, what does he want from me? And they went for chai, talked about all nice things, didn't mention a word about the trauma and turmoil of being together in a business. And he said, I saw aspects of my brother which I never saw. I was too obsessed with negative qualities. This is how relationships change. So when I accept my brother without any need to correct him, tell him what he was doing was wrong, or anything, would one not call that true love? A total acceptance of the other, the way God created them, would not that be true love? But what we do is we compartmentalize. Out of my three cousins, I'm fond of every one. The other two, I'm not fond of. Maybe so. Maybe you have a preference. Different personalities get along with certain kinds of people. But the feeling of acceptance of God's creation, knowing that everyone has been endowed with some beautiful qualities which I don't have, perhaps. And more importantly, when I start realizing this, I find myself in a place of very deep peace. Very deep peace. What is called in the Bible the peace that passeth understanding. You can try this experiment. Someone whom you're very familiar with, just pass a compliment which you never have. The person will be shocked. Is it that hard to compliment someone who's troubled you? It's not that hard. My Sufi master in Kashmir, I don't understand his language. I go and sit with him. And so many people come to see him with their ailments, with their personal problems. He's like a peer, as they say. So I would sit and observe his interaction with the local people. Quietly, I would sit in the corner. That was my learning with him, because I could not learn anything about Sufism from him because could not understand each other. But then I realized the Sufis' approach is even more simple. Because one day, one man walked in who was filthy, smelling, would put anyone off. And he walked into this room. And I thought to myself, I said, how is Baba going to tackle this man? Started talking loudly, no respect for the master. I don't know what he wanted. He wanted something. And the Baba said something and said, Abhi jao, Khuda Hafiz. So then I asked him, I said, Baba, it's amazing how you don't turn anyone away. And I confessed that I was so keen to see what would happen between these two people. And this Baba said, look, anyone who walks into my room or anyone I meet on the road, stranger, friend, family, whoever, my first thought is this person standing in front of me has certain good qualities which I don't have. That is all. So I told this industrialist who comes for the talks, I said, people don't realize that we can agree to disagree with anyone without being disagreeable. We can agree to disagree, but that does not mean that disagreement defines the whole relationship. When I start living this way, I realize I'm no longer living my relationships through my mind. The ego is living relationships through the mind, the thinking mind, trying to derive the most benefit from the person, or if it feels threatened and offended, giving it back because it's a threat to me. Anyone who disagrees with me is a threat to me. Why is this person a threat to me? Because it means what I say is not the truth for them. And so I'm afraid this other person is not listening to me. Which means what? If someone has a point of view different from yours and is not really listening to you, you are afraid that you will die. The ego is afraid. Someone threatens me. Not only physically, emotionally. I'm afraid. I don't want to die. So I will fight back. I will push back. I will show this person who I am. Because it is a threat to my beliefs, my identifications. That is what we do. Getting stuck in action-reaction loops with that same person all the time. And when I accept nobody is the doer of the actions, everyone is being lived like I am. When I realize this, compassion may arise. Someone who uses harsh words against me, thought may arise, this person must be suffering so much inside themselves to say such things. Earlier, my understanding was shut. Now I feel, my God, what this person in his childhood, what would they have seen that they say such nasty things? What trauma did they face? I don't know because I don't know their past. So this realization comes that people are mean and nasty because they feel they are under threat. That is the compassion the Buddha talks about. And the middle path. What is the middle path in the simplest of terms? When I am not polarized, I am in the middle. My pendulum, if I hold it here and I leave it, it's going to swing to the other extreme. So I have already created that extreme by holding the pendulum here. I just have to leave it and it will go to the other end. And it will keep going like this. Then the momentum slows down and then it is still. This stillness is true peace, because this peace does not depend on people or circumstances in my life. We have been looking for love in the wrong places. We are looking for an external love. Whereas, with this understanding, love becomes our nature. The glorious example is the sun. The sun does not care who you are on planet Earth, a thief, a saint. It shines its light equally on everyone because it is its nature. Its nature is to shine. Is it possible for the sun to say, this person I don't like, I'm going to give him less sunlight? This person is very dear to me, more sunlight. It's absurd. And this baby, we were all this baby, pure innocence, pure joy, uncorrupted by the egoic separation. Where has that baby gone? That baby is still within us. Otherwise, we would be dead. That life force, that pure being, which was the baby, is still with you right now, waiting to be rediscovered. A baby is a blank slate. You mention your opinion about a political party, what is the baby going to say? Goo goo gaga. Isn't it? Blank slate. Pure joy, pure being. And that is still within us. But the veil of separation which has been drawn over our eyes What was the original polarity of me and the other in daily living became me versus the other. This me versus the other is the cause of our suffering. And when this me versus the other reverts back to me and the other, we are back to the basic dualistic structure. And that is how we start living our life. When my teacher was in the body, someone came to him who had a checkered past, had done things which were not considered pleasant. He was from overseas and he came for the satsang. And at the end of it, he told my teacher that I have never experienced a total acceptance of myself till I came to you. You have accepted me the way I am. Other teachers have tried to correct me, give me their point of view, tell me do this, don't do that. You did none of that. And he said, I am so comfortable in your satsang. I never felt comfortable like this before. Consequences happen based on our actions. The sage knows this. The cause and effect relationship. But because the sage is convinced nobody is the doer of their actions, even this man in front of me, society will take its course. If he is meant to be sent to jail or whatever other options are there, what have I got to do with it? So he accepted him totally. And that man who was supposed to be there for 3 days stayed for 2 months. He didn't say, my guru loves me. He just said, I have been accepted the way I am, and all my life I have been struggling to be accepted the way I am. I'm prepared to face the consequences. But nobody has met me with such grace and openness as you have. The masters tend to keep these kind of people close to themselves because they know that this person has been judged enough by his family, wherever he works, whatever he does, he has received his fair share of judgment. At least one person can accept this person for who they are. That is the guru. Now, the guru does not mean the physical guru. Oh, my Guruji accepts me for the way I am. It may appear like that. But the guru is consciousness. Consciousness is the guru, and now I have come into a field where consciousness does not judge me. Earlier, individuals were judging and condemning me, but here I have a very unique relationship that the physical master is not concerned about judging me. He knows there are others who will do it. The only role he plays is to accept us as an equal expression of consciousness. That is where healing takes place. I'm healed. My mind is healed because the mental churn is no longer going on like it used to. The thinking mind now starts dissolving. And I find myself in a very unique place now. Very unique. Because none of that garbage is there anymore in my mind. So I'm able to meet people, appreciate them, honor them, respect them. And that kind of honoring and respect was not there earlier. This is not theory. This is something you can directly take into your daily living. Imagine if you have one more day to live. God calls you on your mobile and says, I'm coming to you in 24 hours. No choice. Now, those 24 hours, imagine if my mind is filled with, in my life, this happened to me, that happened to me, this person hurt me, I lost so much money on the stock market, my family member troubled me. And your last 24 hours, you are living in your mind. Oh, you get up in the morning and say, today is my last day. I have learned so much in this lifetime. I have seen so much. I have seen the one God behind the whole show. And so I must thank on this last day of mine on earth everyone who I have come across because they have taught me valuable lessons. Even someone who I consider bad has taught me something, which is how not to be myself. That is a learning. Someone passed on this famous quote, I don't remember who. No matter how bad you are still of use to the world. because you can be used as a good example of being bad. And so your last day is vacant. Mind is not churning. Whoever I meet, I meet. Maybe since it's my last day, I send them a quiet blessing. May you not face the challenges I faced. You who troubled me, I don't wish you those troubles because I have been at the receiving end and know how it has taken away my peace. I don't want your peace to be taken away, no matter how much you have troubled me. And then I'm available, a vacant mind on my last day, enjoying life, the brief time left, honoring all relationships. Then I'm ready when God comes and says, let's go. I am there. I am there because I have already died. I have already died because my ego, with its sense of doership, filled with hatred, malice, jealousy, envy, condemnation, blame, pride, and arrogance, is dead. What is left to die? Every night I am dying when I go into deep sleep. Do I object? Do I object to the fact that God has blessed me that 1/3 of my life I am in deep sleep, which I know is very peaceful because when I wake up, I say, I slept really well. Why did you sleep well? Because your mind did not trouble you in deep sleep, it was absent. The mind was absent in your deep sleep, and therefore, deep sleep was so peaceful. Can you see the gift God has given? That true peace, which is deep sleep, we've already got a taste of it, which basically is the absence of me and my drama and my story. Deep sleep is the absence of everything. Then I meet my God in peace, not telling him he should have done a better job. Why did you do this to me? Why did you make my life so hard? My friend is having a good life. Why do they have to have a good life? This is the dialogue in our minds. I had met one doctor in Bombay, and we have a common friend. So I told my friend, I recently met him. She said, I'll tell you something shocking. She said, I don't know who this man is in terms of who he really is. But what happened? His wife died. His wife died. The cremation took place around noon, around 12 o'clock. And he said, you won't believe it. He was back at his clinic at 5 p.m. for the patients who came to see him. She said, I asked him, why are you doing this? Your wife has just died, cremation has just happened. Don't subject yourself to this. Relax, take it easy. You're in a fragile state. He said, I'm sorry, I don't agree. I have a role to play. I have a task to be done. Why would I be so selfish? Because my wife has died, that I don't meet people. Here I have the chance. Patients come. I try to help them in their health issues. I consider it as a divine gift, which I will practice till my last breath. My wife is dead and gone. I will grieve when I have to grieve. Emotions will come up, maybe in the night. But why should that stop me from doing my dharma? Would you not call that an expression of true love for his patients? We are all marching through time in this realm of duality. No one can stop it. The only thing that can be stopped is the thinking mind. You have to free people. You've caged them up. And you have bought many cages to put them all in. One has to free people from expectations. I mean, who are you to expect anything? That is why the cliche, true love is a giving without expecting anything in return. If it is your nature to give, give. Someone came to me and said their closest friend didn't wish them on their birthday. He was very hurt that he's been my closest friend, didn't wish me. Hurt arose. So he said, it's very simple. You don't love me, I won't love you. So on his birthday, I didn't call him up and wish him. Is that your nature? Because you have an expectation. If your nature is to wish people on their birthday, certain people you are fond of, so what if they didn't wish you? Why this barter system? Why this transactional relationship? Because the other is behaving like that, I must also behave like that. How often are we doing this? I have a friend who's much older than me, maybe 25 years old. We are very fond of each other. It is I who initiate a meeting. I say, we've not met for a long time, let's catch up. And his first reaction is, please say when. and give me a couple of options so it works for me. First reaction. And I thought that for the last 5 years, I'm the one who's saying, let's catch up. He's not saying, let's catch up. So I asked him this. I said, Anil, if you don't mind, this thing has been weighing on my mind. And he said, on the contrary, I feel so honored when you call me and say you'd like to meet, because it never strikes me that you would want to meet someone like me. So I don't call you because of that. You see, what is our nature? And are we honoring that nature? Just like when Ramana Maharshi's ashram, when he was in the body, the gundas came with sticks and clubs to beat people and steal their kitchen utensils. And Bhagwan was sitting there and he saw his devotees nearby getting up, running to get sticks to go out and beat the dacoits. He said, hold on, hold on. They are doing their job. It is their nature. Is this your nature? Is it your nature? You're in this ashram, you're with me. You've not even asked me, can we go out and beat them up? Let them take what they have to take. Others will provide. There was another businessman who came to me. He said, I've made millions of dollars. It's natural to me. It comes very naturally to earn money. I have not gone through struggles, problems at work like other people have. Now I have enough money. So I'm stopping. I'm not going to work anymore. My bank account is full. My portfolio is in place. So I said, you have a natural gift to make money. Your account may be full. What about others? Why not make money since it comes naturally to you and give it in charity? He said, really? He said, that didn't strike me only. I was just concerned. I have enough money for my kids, their education, everything. I'm more than enough. So I thought, now let's stop working. I said, you enjoy working? Yes. Money comes easily? Yes. Give it away. Which is what he started doing. But I said, remember one thing. If you build a hospital or you do a very large project because you have access to that kind of, be careful if you're going to put your name on it. Because then it is an identification. I donated my money to this hospital and my name is on it. I said, any big project, if you support and that party puts your name, is fine because you didn't ask for it. But be very careful if you want to advertise your charity, because it means a fundamental error has been overlooked. That money which you gave was never yours. You think it is my hard work. my effort, but the universe orchestrated events in your life, brought people into your company, brought clients to you. So many factors which were not in your control led to your success. It is not your money. Anyone's wallet has cash which they didn't produce. It came from somewhere and it will go somewhere. What is yours? There's this girl who stays in a joint family where five members of the family are ill. And she takes care of all of them. She will check their medicine list, see that they are taking things on time, see that the nurse comes to check blood pressure, whatever it may be. And I met her for a cup of tea. I said, it's amazing how you are doing this. She said, look, it was very simple. I'm the only healthy one. The others need me, so I'm there for them. And that is something beautiful because when I'm helping someone else, my me, which is so strong and I'm always obsessed with me, that starts dropping away because now the focus is the other. My teacher would say, an idle mind is the devil's workshop. When I'm sitting doing nothing, all kinds of thoughts come. Better do something. If social service appeals to you, do it. That way, the focus and the spotlight is no longer on me, but on the other. That is what happens. What Nisargadatta Maharaj called being unselfed, no longer self obsessed. We are obsessed with ourselves. When we give, whether it is a compliment, whether it is a blessing, whether it is money, we are unselfing. We have been taking all our lives. This is the reversal. Give us your time. Someone wants to meet you. You may not be too fond of that person. It's okay. Sit for a shorter time with them. When you feel like getting up, get up. The spiritual journey is the journey of being unselfed. This me and mine starts crumbling. And then what is left? I live a peaceful life, I die a peaceful death. And then when I see this, that I have become an expression myself of true love, it has happened. That turning point is what my mother refers to. The point where the love for power turns to the power of love. Our love has been for power, power over others, dominating others, especially the weaker ones we feel we can dominate. It happens in offices. In my own office, it happened that the senior most manager was giving trouble to a team leader. The team leader could not say anything against this manager. He was too scared. What did he do? Started abusing those below him. Took out his frustration on his team. So, this love for power, we can see it in our own lives. Whom are we trying to dominate and control in our lives? Do we really have that right? When I realize this, the love of power now transforms to the power of love. A loving acceptance of the will of God, of all the people I have known, I know, and will know. Because this love has delivered me to peace. Love has delivered me. It has not ended there. There is this book by one of Shirdi Sai Baba's Mahabhaktas, who's no longer in the body, but he had a very special relationship with Sai Baba. He was very dear to Sai Baba. And in his later years, because he met Sai Baba when he was a 12-year-old boy, and Sai Baba gave him a kafni. And another bhakt said, he's too young, he won't know the value of this. I'll give it to him when he turns 18. That was the relationship of this young boy with Sai Baba. So he started giving satsangs later on in life based on Sai Baba's teachings. And this one line which I'd like to read out. When the heart is full of love, the jiva is in the proximity of God. If he is aware of this, spirituality is pleasure and happiness. Without this love, the world is full of sorrow. There is a sweetness in love and devotion, and in this sweetness, lies the bliss which is necessary for Shanti. It's back to Shanti. True love, you will know is true when you are at peace with that love. Not worshipping one murti in my prayer altar, and daily living is a mess. Relationships are in a mess. Oh no, but I am a Krishna bhakt. I do japa mala, I do bhajan, kirtan for 1.5 hours. But I forget Krishna in daily living. What kind of remembrance and worship is that? Someone told me I'm a staunch Catholic. I go to church every Sunday. I said, tell me. One of the tenets of Jesus' teaching is love thy neighbor as thyself. Do you do that? What nonsense are you talking? I said, I am talking about your own master's teachings. Could not accept it because his relationship was only with Jesus. And what his own master has been telling, teaching is not being followed. Love by thy neighbor as thyself does not mean I have to be artificial about it. Does not mean I have to go and give him pedas every second day. It means I accept my neighbor. I am there for my neighbor if they need my help. And I tell that to them. In our building, on our floor, we had a single lady who was very disturbed. And she was very nasty to the building staff, the watchmen below. They all wanted to avoid her. And she was very tough on us also. On the occasion of Guru Purnima, when my mother's disciples would put some diyas in the passages, she would throw them. When I would come back from work, I had to pass her door. Something unbelievable would happen. It is as if she was waiting for me to pass, because what she would do is, I would get off on the second floor. Perhaps she heard our lifts are those old jali lifts. As I was approaching her house to turn towards my house, her door would open and she would bang it shut. Then one fine day, the watchman she has troubled the most and who's done the most seva for her, he said, Saab, kuch hua hai inko. She has been either hit and fallen on the pavement. Something has happened because her whole mind has turned over. And what she started doing, maybe because of the fear of living alone, she started keeping her chair outside her main door and sitting there. And so again, I would come back from work, I would have to pass her. But some days she was nasty, other days she was just like a vegetable. He said she's not eating, the watchmen are going and giving her their food. So we decided we will keep water next to her, some sandwiches. Sometimes she would eat, sometimes she wouldn't eat. And in a matter of 2 weeks, she died. So her behavior, which we didn't like, being at the receiving end, did not mean that when the neighbor is in some need, we don't lend a hand. How do we know the rivers of karma are so deep? We have no idea what is going on besides and beneath a relationship. We are seeing just the tip of the iceberg. And seeing that tip, we are judging the whole relationship. We don't know what Sai Baba called Rinanubandhan, the debt of relationships, the cosmic debt of relationships. But we do what we think and feel we should do. Later, I found out from my mother that when this lady's brother and sister would come to visit her, she would make them sleep in the passage outside the door. I was too young then to know what was going on. Her own brother and sister had to sleep outside. Don't know. We don't know what debts are being squared off, what karmic balances people have come with. The mistake we make is judging by seeing the tip of the iceberg. And when I transform from the love of power over the people in my life to the power of love, I find people like being with me. Or I find new people coming my way because now they are feeling more and more comfortable with me. So, true love and peace, what Goldsmith would say, true love is love that rises above the pair of opposites of love and hate. That becomes our expression. That is how we start living the rest of our lives. That is the ultimate bhakti. The knowledge, the light of divine wisdom, that nobody is really apart from me. It appears like that. Certainly appears like that, but everyone is appearing within my own consciousness. The one I hate and the one I love are appearing within my own consciousness. When I see the perfect example of the kitchen, I go into my kitchen without expecting the toaster to make juice. I know the toaster has been designed to make toast. So toast will be the output. But the problem is, as far as people are concerned, we want a human toaster to give us juice. That is what we do. Without electricity, they are dead. They come to life when electricity runs through them. So, what is more important, the gadget or the electricity? But our focus is on gadgets. Similarly, everyone in our life is a gadget powered by consciousness. So, if someone is speaking to me, the realization is consciousness is speaking to me through this person. Earlier, it was this individual is speaking to me as separate from God. Now I realize that if I am dead and the person speaking to me is dead, conversation cannot happen. So, who is speaking to whom? What is it that animates someone and myself? Isn't that doing the speaking and isn't that doing the listening? It's common sense. If I am dead, you can't speak to me. If you are dead, I can't speak to you. When you read a book, tell me which is more important, the words you are reading or that blank space which allows the words to be formed. But we lose sight of that blank space because our attention is on words. Which is more important? The blank space does not need the words. It is prior to the words. But we lose this. In daily living, we lose this. When we go to a movie, we thoroughly enjoy the movie, but we don't look at the screen. All we are seeing is images, the villain, the hero, the action, the drama, and what a lovely movie. But hello, the movie was only possible because of the screen on which all the characters appeared. The sage is aware of this. What I'm seeing is the movie of life, the living dream of life. But the foundation, what is at the back, is consciousness, pure, pristine consciousness shining through, which has taken certain forms through which it acts. Now, when I constantly remember this, the content of my consciousness becomes the screen, becomes the blank space. And I know the nature of the mind is to keep throwing thoughts at me. I'll run away with some thoughts. All that I know is the drama of the movie of my life. But now my one foot is on the ground of being, which I was when I was a baby. And I find, rather than getting carried away with the ups and downs of life and the turmoil, I am witnessing life more and more. And I've started witnessing quality has started emerging. And this quality, someone said so beautifully at satsang, that anything that happened, anything that was being told to him, he told himself, he said, my mantra became, so be it. So be it. It is what it is. This witnessing consciousness is the Sakshi bhav. It is so simple. You have celebrated your birthdays in various ways when you were 5 years old, 10 years old, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, whatever it may be. And then you say, I remember what I did on my 18th birthday. I remember what I did on my 21st birthday. But who is this I who remembers all this? Something has to be constant which remembers this birthday and that birthday and that birthday. Where's that? What is actually being celebrated is the birth of a body which is temporary, transient, and which is going to perish. What about celebrating the consciousness which animates everyone in your life? That does not need a specific day and date in the year to celebrate. This becomes your puja because you're doing puja of consciousness. Consciousness is worshipping consciousness. That is why my teacher asked, when he was asked, any famous last words? You are at the end of a glorious 92-year-old lifespan, author of 35 books, done retreats in Germany, India, the US. You were with a renowned master. But I want one simple, single sentence parting shot. No complications. He said, but are you willing to accept what I'm going to say? I said, yes. He said, my only request is everyone you come across, bar none, everyone, the one you have loved the most, the one you hated the most, the stranger on the street, love as if you created them. Love everyone as if you created them. They are your creation. Because they are. They are in your mind only. So that peace, the balm of peace and tranquility is within. The biggest ashram is here. The greatest temple is here. That consciousness, it said, hey buddy, you forgot about me while you were too busy to live your life. I know someone who had this experience of being one with everything. Tremendous experience. And she went to her master's residence for the weekly group meditation. And it was a very solid practice of meditation by a large group with the master. In that meditation, after each meditation, the master encouraged them to share their experience of meditation, whatever they felt, what thoughts. This person could not hold the excitement. And she said, Guruji, something unbelievable happened in that Hatana. I could see people entering temples and offering flowers to the deity and then doing arti with the flame. But the strangest thing is, they were doing it to me. Somehow I was suddenly at a temple and all those followers putting flowers, putting tikka. She said it was happening to me. And her fellow meditators burst out laughing. She's gone mad. She thinks she is God now. And the Guru said, you have now had the experience of the oneself. Because in the temple, consciousness has been worshipping consciousness. It appears as an individual worshipping a murti. This is the highest experience. So, this is our daily living. It becomes like that. We start worshipping aspects of consciousness rather than objecting and hating and condemning aspects of consciousness. This is the true puja. It's a very subtle game. And because we are lost in the world of form, we miss it. We are playing games with everyone in our life so that we may understand what is this game about. Just like you play video games, this is the game of life. Have I seen through it all? Have I seen that each piece in a jigsaw puzzle is needed to complete the picture? Some I may not like, some I really like. But the picture is incomplete when one piece is missing. You need the bad people because then you wouldn't recognize the good people. They complete each other. The bad one is probably doing you a very big favor. And so that is my only wish, that this taste of what is called transcendental love, which is a love which transcends the duality of hate, becomes a living experience. I repeat, it does not mean I have to hug everyone. It does not mean I have to keep displaying my love. It just means I have understood that my relationship with people is a reflection of my relationship with God. My relationship with the happenings in my life going forward is a reflection of my relationship with God, and my relationship with myself is a reflection of my relationship with God. That is the end. That is what a true master wishes, because they have tasted that. They are not concerned with being appreciated, being worshipped, because they were given a taste of that. It's so beautiful and divine how it changed their life. They try their best to pass it on. Their role is the role of the postman. In previous days, a letter would come. The postman is delivering the letter. He is an instrument. The message is an ancient one. Message is nothing new. The postman comes and says, "Hey, I'm carrying a letter for you." You open it, you read it, and you are very moved by that letter because you are moved by the message. And it helps to say thank you to the postman. Thank you for carrying this ancient message to me so that I can honor in my daily living consciousness. Once it happened to me, someone was being a bit mean to me. And I suddenly found myself smiling because I could see this whole show, how a person is compelled to be the way they are playing out their script. This was like automatic, like a robot. And I realized this person is really not doing it. This is their expression. So I smiled. Person got very upset. Now you're smiling at me. How dare you smile at me? It means you're not valuing what I say. See, nobody likes it in a tennis match if the opponent puts their racket down. What Goldsmith referred to is lay down your sword. Stop fighting. Life is not a battle. It became like that through the process of divine hypnosis, the Maya. Now it's time to lay your sword down. Yesterday, I gave this example in Hyderabad. Very beautiful example. A student of Joel Goldsmith, immersed in his teachings when he was alive in the 1950s, boarded a public transport bus and sat in the front row. At the back of the bus, there was a drunk man. And this drunk man started screaming and shouting and creating trouble for the other passengers. Even the driver was fed up. And the driver decided to stop the bus at an unscheduled bus stop and ask this man to leave. Now, this student, rather than getting sucked into this drama, decided that my master has guided me in such situations what to do. And the student said, every time this ruckus was there at the back, I told myself, I didn't tell anyone else, this is my sadhana, this is my practice. I told myself, this too is God appearing as individual being. This too, this man who's creating trouble, who's drunk, is God appearing as individual being. I kept repeating this. It became my mantra through the journey, and something unbelievable happened. The man still created a ruckus. He was literally forced to leave the bus, but when he reached the steps next to the driver to get off, he turned around and looked at me and said, "Thank you." And he left. So that is all I have to share today. If something has appealed to you, even 5%, I consider my job done. Knowing that Everyone is walking their own path, their own demons, their own challenges. But now the opportunity is there to walk hand in hand with other people, together with them. Once in a while, make your friend happy. If he sees a movie which you didn't like, say, I see it could be a very good movie. Be cooperative, understanding. My teacher's initial statement, consciousness in action is understanding. Understand people. We are all coming from the same place. We are all going back to the same place. We've entered the realm of separation. We will exit the realm of separation, some before us, some after us. And so, better to leave this cargo which you've accumulated in your lifetime, leave it, drop it. Where? At the feet of the source. These are your problems, you deal with them. This is called surrender. It's like Goldsmith said, once he started teaching, there were still people I could not get myself to love. They were quite unbearable. But he said, suddenly, I went and prayed to God, look, God, I have tried my best. I cannot love them. Now there is only one option left for you. Since I can't love them, you love them through me. I can't do it. It's your job now. It's so beautiful when you realize everyone is not a flower. All flowers have thorns. That is the way of nature. Only my attitude and attention now shifts. Such a slight shift. Yet the whole picture changes. It's like taking birth in another dimension. And yet my feet are here.